Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
Has been holding so many boxes for me. Hi, YouTube. How are you doing today? And welcome. I'm talking to Blog Talk Radio and letting them know I had a very healthy.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.
I had a very, oh, Jesus Christ, what's happening here? I had a very healthy morning of self-care and peace and quiet. And I just ended it with a little bit of opera music. I love opera. I am a former ballet dancer, so opera speaks to me. It's my training. It's my upbringing. Which is why I don't hear music well. I don't hear words well in music. I love the beat of music, though. The beat of any music, get down, I'll get down. But words, words aren't my best. I will screw up words. Hi, Miss Net, how are you? So I just wanted to let you guys know I am entering this space today. I feel like very clean and very healthy. And I like that feeling. I like what I did today. And I have no electricity. How am I in a good place when there is no electricity? I woke up to electricity, but for the last hour and a half, there has been no electricity. Thank God the winter is here, because there is a beautiful breeze coming through, and that makes all the difference in the world. But if this had been June, oh my God, I would be dying right now. Hi, Samaj. Good morning. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Abso-freaking-lutely. Health is wealth. And I feel so good this morning. And sometimes when I feel good, I don't know if it's you or if it's me, but when I'm really, really at peace and really, really good, I'm like, what is going to happen that's going to break this feeling? What's going to happen? I'm worried. But what I have learned to do is not remember my association with expecting something to ruin the good. That's what I've learned. But it takes a minute to appreciate that. So I am embracing what I'm doing today. I'm cleaning out drawers and rearranging my closet. I got the last of my boxes in. I got all of my herbs in. I didn't even know I was missing all these herbs. Oh my God, I would have labeled them so he could send them first. By the way, my assistant and his wife have been holding boxes for me for over a year. His wife finally said to him, get this shit out of here. I felt so bad. It's just that at some point I forgot about the boxes. And at some point the assistant was like, you have too much to worry about. You cannot take these boxes. And I'd be like, oh my God, fine. Between him and I being very inconsiderate, I would think, his wife was like, I'm going to blow my top. And I agree. So he texts me and he's like, my wife is going to blow my top. And I'm like, yes. And so for the past 3 weeks, he's been sending me my boxes. And I have been so happy. And it's the last of the boxes. And it's where all my herbs were. So now I can start selling herbs on my site. Hi, Concrete Rose. Good morning, sweetie. How are you today? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my God, it feels so good in here. I'm shocked at how good it feels. I'm in my other room, and so, oh, it feels so good. It's a wonderful breeze outside. There's no electricity, but there is an amazing breeze outside. So I am really, really happy. Let me just check something. So, hi, Nova. Oh, that's my grandbaby's name. Look at you. Good health and good morning to all the amazing mystical misfits. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. I'm trying to make some coffee right now with some tea light candles. Don't forget, guys. Tomorrow is full moon energy. Tomorrow is full moon energy. Please do your magic. We got the full moon in Aries, which is a very spicy full moon. So please invest in the full moon for any magic that you want, right? And you always want something. Like, let's be clear about that. You always want something. So use some magic to get it. Oh, good morning, American Amy. Look at you. Good morning, Jesse. Good morning. So don't forget to invest in, it could be a Yankee candle, it could be a tea light candle. Nobody cares, right? Sometimes small can pack a powerful punch. All week since Mercury has gone direct, I think from the 4th, from the 3rd, because I think it went direct Tuesday. I have been lighting little tea light candles every single day. Every single day. And just now, what I did was, okay, so I don't have electricity right now, right? Because it's the Caribbean. And sometimes you wake up and there's no electricity, right? And so I wanted to heat up a half a pita bread to eat. And I was like, well, one of my group mates, Wolverines is her name on YouTube, one of my group mates told me to take some tea light candles and put it on your stove, and I could do that because I have an electric stove, right? So I was like, okay, this morning, I was like, okay, I'm going to do what she suggested. So I got 5 tea light candles, but I don't like wasting tea light candles. Like, that is dumb to me. So I was like, I'm going to heat something up with these little tea light candles on my stove. So there's a little dent in my stove. And then this metal thing that sits on top. And then I can put the pot on top of the metal thing. I don't know what the metal thing is called. And so I got 5 tea light candles. I put some money herbs on the candles. I put some oils on the candles. And then I commenced to heating up my pita bread. I mean, I'm going to think magic, magic, magic all day, every day. That's who I am. That's what I do. I'm not kidding. So I literally heated up some stuff by using tea light candles and then created magic at the same time. I added some herbs. First, I charged the herbs in my left hand. I charged the herbs real quick. And then in my left hand, and then sprinkled it. And then, oh my God, I'm so happy. I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. Right now, I'm heating up some coffee. So give me a second, because I'm going to get the tea light. Oh, maybe I should have covered up the. Oh, darn it. Hold on, guys. All right, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm back. I'm so sorry. I had to oh Joe. I had to let me just see something. Oh, there you go. Let me just let Melissa in, guys. Melissa. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, Tori.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing,
I'm fine.
you're fine.
I feel like I didn't sleep last night because my dog likes to wake up awkward times.
Yes.
And I gotta go to the bathroom. And last night it was like 2:30. 6:30.
Oh, how old is he, Melissa?
And about this morning, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, come on, baby, you're right.
How old is he?
He's 13 years old now.
Oh, He's getting at that age where his body is changing, Melissa.
He is like, hello, I have to go outside.
Yeah, he's serious.
He was fed up with me this morning. He went all the way to the front door, waiting for it to be open. He was like, I don't have no time for this. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me 5. He does not. He'll give me 5 and then be like, okay, you finished 5 already. Why are you taking the extra 5?
Yes. His body is changing. So like a mature person in their 80s, and you know how we have to put a diaper on adults. Animals are the same way. I had to put a diaper on my dog.
Wow.
He couldn't stop peeing. I literally put what was it? The Pampers that's for preemies. I had to put preemie diapers on my dog.
Oh yeah, because you had little munchkin.
Yes. And I cut out a hole for his tail, but it wasn't the poop, right? I wasn't worried about that. It was the peeing. This dog at some point could not stop peeing. And so he started picking up his leg in the house. He started like lifting up his leg to the corner of a wall. And I'm like, no, Bones, no, you don't do that. And I realized he couldn't help himself. Right? And so I put a diaper on him. So then you see him in his diaper lifting up his leg, but he's peeing in a diaper, not peeing all over my house. Oh my God, it was terrible.
Right. Wow. I see people with that whole thing on TV with the grass and everything, and I was like, that looks cool, but I never train my dog to go in the house. Even in winter time, he goes outside.
Yes. It's better that way. I didn't train my dog to go in the house either. He just started doing it. And I was like, no, Bones, you don't do this. But but he was getting older and he couldn't wait for me anymore. Right? And then I was getting afraid because I was working at the time. I was working at a psychic store. And I was afraid that if I did not do something drastic, I would come home and this dog would have found, no. I was like, we're going to handle this better. Sometimes I had to take him to work with me.
Oh.
Yes.
I love that.
I know. It was cute. It was nice to take him to work with me. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Since I didn't sleep.
Huh?
Since I didn't sleep, I went and I watched your video last night of Tia and Corey.
Oh,
And I was like, I remember watching it. I watched it when it was on E too. I watched the whole when they had their own reality show.
I binge watched. We were all talking, and I binge watched Tamara and her husband's reality show last night. I didn't mean to. I was looking for Tia's reality show, but Tamara
Right.
and her husband, I think it's called Life with the Houseleys, had come on. I watched it from the first episode and just binge watched it. It's such a cute show. It's such a cute show. I mean, maybe that's I'm in a good mood today, right, Melissa? I mean, I'm always in a good mood, but this is a different type of feeling, right? And so maybe that's what started my good mood, because their show is adorable.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think I watched a little bit of that thing when it was on YouTube
Mm-hmm.
of Tamara,
Mm-hmm.
the Houseleys, and they love to laugh.
They do. They do. Not only do they laugh, they will finish each other's sentence. They'll have mannerism very similar to one another, and I'm like, do they even know that they act the same? They're so funny together.
You know what I love though?
Mm-hmm.
Is the fact that both sisters had boys first, and they had their girls last.
Oh, I didn't recognize that. Look at you. That is nice.
Mm-hmm. Both of them had boys first.
Lisa D says, good health and good morning, Melissa.
Well, good health, Lisa D, and good health and good morning to everybody there.
So how has your week been, Melissa?
Week's been busy at work, but at home it's just been a little I feel like the time is going faster. I look and I'm like, oh God, it's time for bed.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a lot of, I don't know if anybody else watches the stuff that's on on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that everybody has a crystal business on TikTok now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the whole, I took the video where they keep the rice and they keep all the crystals in the rice.
Yes.
And they shake it up, and you have to pay for $40 for one scoop.
Yeah.
And then people are so obsessed with that they're paying for 5 scoops, and
are you
that's
serious?
$40 each that you're paying.
Are you serious?
Yes. Oh my God, it's so much different stuff. Like I am glued to it. I'm like, you know what, people, if anybody's thinking about doing anything that has to do with any sale with crystals and stuff on TikTok, do it. Because let me tell you something. So I bought from one place, right?
Mm-hmm.
It cost me $18 only, right?
That's good.
Included. So
18 is good.
Yeah, so I got to take a picture of it, and the girl, she picked out whatever little jewelry pieces that they have. So I got the purple amethyst, and I went and got the earrings and like a ring and stuff like that. And what else did I got? I think it was the earring, the ring, and it came like in a cute gift box.
Mm.
That became with a necklace, a bracelet, an earring, 2 earrings that have the rose quartz in it.
Wow.
And I got the ring, and the ring almost reminds me of like the evil eye, and it only fits on my pinky. But it came all the way from China. Okay. All the way from China. And I noticed that everybody's business is like, they're taking, no matter what country you are, they are trying to take the business. But everybody's shown that I have been seeing is mostly all Chinese. Or, Chinese or Asian. And I was like, where's everybody else at? Everybody better get on this. because it's about, I'm going to say they have at least between 40 and 100 something people watching.
Well, but here's what I want to tell you though, Melissa. You know, they are like the nail salon, right? The China industry, Chinese industry, they are like a magnet, right? And sometimes they have better resources than we do over here, right? And so they're taking over, to be honest with you, the crystal industry on TikTok, at least, right?
On TikTok, it is huge. And you know what, Sue? Is that what they do is that if someone works 5 hours, right, one of their employees that do, say like they do 3 hours each, 3 hours, and the next person that comes on does 3 hours. So they continue to keep their thing live, to keep their thing open.
Yeah, I got you. It's a job now. I got you. I mean, it's like the nail industry.
And I'm like, also, everybody's employed.
It's like the nail industry, right? They have a way of taking over. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know if somebody in America could do what they're doing, right? Because
that's
it would.
True. Yeah, because I know only Brown that's doing it.
Who?
I don't see anybody else on TikTok that.
Well, because.
Well, you know what, Sue? I can't say that. Go ahead.
Well, because we have to, most likely, I don't know, but we would have to buy the crystals from them overseas to do what they are doing when they get it cheap. You know what I mean?
Oh, you know what? You're right about that.
Yeah.
They have they'd be in a warehouse.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So they have better resources over there that could make them create these rice bowl crystal shows. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I think over here to do the same thing, right? First of all, I want to know how much their shipping is. Because when you send me, when you send the group the link, Melissa, some of those things look heavy. I'm like, what is their shipping like? I'm sure they have a package deal with, how did it come, Melissa? UPS?
You know what? It came from China.
Yes.
And I gotta find the box for it. It came from China. And then, it went from China to California. And it said on there, it doesn't say that it's from China. Like they put a label on it saying that it's from a warehouse in California.
Oh wow! See. And
I just thought that was kind of weird.
That's a lot of trickery. That's a lot. Now that you're telling, that's a lot of trickery.
It's like they're hiding it that it's from China.
Interesting. I wonder if this is something Biden needs to know about, because that's a lot of trickery right there.
Right, and I was wondering, I thought that it would say that it's from China on the box.
Right.
And it said, warehouse in California.
That's a lot of trickery, Melissa. I don't know if I'm a fan of that kind of nonsense, but I get it. It's very enticing because the crystals are so beautiful. So did you like what you got?
I liked it, but I was just like, well, you know, you just never know if it's real. You know, that's another thing too. I'm like, okay, they get it cheap over there, but is it authentic?
Do you feel like maybe it's not real, Melissa?
Because I feel like when I look at the purple images, I don't know why. It just looks like you can see through it. And I feel like crystals, I mean, I never really you know, when you look at a crystal.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you might see a little bit, but I don't know. That's what it made me feel like. It just made me feel like it was. So I'm gonna send a picture to it and see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah, send me a picture so I can look at it and upload it.
Find that box. Yep, and I'm gonna send that box and take a picture of it so you can see.
Yes.
That it was from that it came from there. It was just so weird.
Yeah, there's some trickery.
It came from extraction. Yeah.
There's some.
Wow, I'm trying to. That's gonna be a long time that's gonna take. Yeah.
There's some trickery involved, which I don't know 100% if I appreciate, right? You know, but don't listen to me, you know, Melissa. I'm negative Millie, right? I'm always gonna be like on the downside of certain type of things. I'm be like, yeah, what's happening up there? Yeah, it's really cute, but you know, and now that you're telling me that the box shows that it's someplace in California, like, really? Are you kidding me? All right.
Right.
And then you're questioning whether or not it's real. You're questioning whether or not it's real. It's like, come on, people. Come on. Like, stop thinking we're dumb Americans, right? You can definitely ask Esquivo Gems. You can always like, hey, do you think this is real, sweetie? She'll tell you.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna ask her because I just thought it was weird. And so like when I look online to where it's shipped, it's like they don't it doesn't show you that it's from China on here. But it was from China when I ordered. Man, it's very
What? You're gonna make me upset. What, Melissa? What did you say?
And it's PayPal. They do everything through PayPal.
Yeah, PayPal's safe. That's why. It's safe. They know they're going to get their money from PayPal. PayPal does not play. I will never mind doing business with PayPal. Those people do not play.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to show y'all. I thought that was, I want to look and see about that China thing. I was just like, oh, it's coming from China, but I forgot where in China that it was coming from.
Interesting.
But they are making business. Yeah, and I was just like, oh, wow. They are making our business on TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's fair, though. I think maybe that's, I'm not, like, sure if it's fair. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it just feels like the nail salon to me, like them just taking over the nail salon industry, and nobody could, you know, participate in that because everything came from China.
Right.
So.
If you think about it, all the nail places, they're all, you know that all the nail places have the what's that thing called? I don't know if it's a cat. You know, the one that waves the hand.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I used to have that in my house. I love that cat.
Always have that in front of their door.
Yes, yes. And they always have like oranges next to the cat. I used to have the cat every year. I had a Chinese friend. She's from Taiwan. And every year we would go to the to the Asian New Year. Oh my God, Melissa, so much fun, first of all. And second of all the trinkets you could buy. And the cat I would get the cat if it stopped working. But one year it stopped working. We went, I got the cat again. I got a real nice cat. But for some reason, I didn't take it out its case, right? Ezra loves all the
Right.
shit that I have in my house. Every trinket he touches, right? And one day I looked at my cat. He had been long gone. And one day I looked at my cat and he had smashed my cat in. It wouldn't work anymore because he smashed it in. I was like, what kind of evil is going on in here? But now you reminded me. I need to get a cat, Melissa. I'll get it from Amazon. I love that waving cat. You know that waving cat calls in energy for you.
Oh, I did not know that because I always see it in there. I'm like,
Yes. It calls in
they
energy.
have that in milk.
Yeah, because it's like, it's energy, right? So when a cat waves, it's bringing in the customers.
Wow. That's
Yes.
why it's always full.
Yes. Oh, I love that cat, child. Now you reminded me I need to get that cat. Because I'm never going to be at another Asian celebration like that ever again. Not from my location. Hey, Melissa, did you hear me on Wednesday? Guess what I'm going to do?
No, I didn't get to hear you on Wednesday. I don't know. What you going to do?
I'm going to Ethiopia.
Oh. I was just watching people trying Ethiopian food for the first time.
Oh, Ethiopian food's amazing.
They were dancing.
Yes. I'm going to take a trip to Ethiopia.
Wow. I just feel like telling you just take the sand or put some in your shoe.
You know,
Take some of the sand with you.
Yeah, one of my dreams is to get to the motherland, right? And I was talking with Chrissy about a week ago, and I was telling her that, and she was like, but where do you go, right? And I was like, maybe we could work something else out, and then soon as I said it to Chrissy, the information came to me to go to Ethiopia. And I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. It's in January. I'm just going to do it. It's under, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. So, by the way, if anybody wants to go to Africa with me, it'll be Ethiopia. Let me know. Because I need to step my foot on the motherland, Melissa. And I have no preference where I go.
I love that.
I know.
I love being barefoot anywhere where I can. So, if you can put your feet on the motherland right there. Oh,
yes.
Boy. Imagine that energy.
I'm telling you, imagine the energy. And that's why I need to go. Like, I need to go where I came from, right?
Right.
I went to Jerusalem, right? And I always said that I wanted to touch the ground that Jesus walked on, right? And God gave me that opportunity, right? He provided that opportunity. And this is my next opportunity to put my feet where I come from. That's going to be amazing. I mean, I'm not Ethiopian. That much I know. Nothing in my DNA shows that besides, I don't even look Ethiopian. They have a very specific look. But the motherland, and I think it's very apropos, Melissa, that I go to Jerusalem, right? And then go to Ethiopia when they are considered the original Jews.
Right. You ever wonder maybe you might have maybe a spirit guidance, maybe Ethiopian or something?
Maybe, definitely Africa. I don't know if it's Ethiopia per se, but I definitely think
maybe someone, yeah.
No, I definitely think that they're giving, like, I went to Jerusalem, and the parallel universe to Jerusalem is Ethiopia. So I think I'm going to the parallel universe, right? The original, the original, the original. Like, who's the original? I'm not suggesting one is more original than the other, but I think I'm going to the parallel universe of Israel. So I went to Israel, which I'm honored that my feet touched the ground in Israel. And remember, I brought back those rocks, those limestones. Oh my God. And so I think I'm going to the parallel universe of Israel, which is Ethiopia. And for some people, they are considered the original Jews.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it? And I think there's no accident in the suggestion of Ethiopia. There's no accident, right? Because I've been looking for a while, and I was like, should I go to Benin? Should I go to Mali? Should I go to Nigeria? These are all the parts of me that are in my blood from my ancestry, right? And so I knew I was going to make a way to West Africa. I just knew it more than anything. I was like, I'm going to find my way to West Africa. Benin is most important to me because that's where voodoo was founded. But God decides, right? God decides. So if I'm going to Africa, God is putting me in Ethiopia.
That is going to be a major experience.
I can't. Somebody sent me, the person that's doing the trip sent me a video, I guess to get me excited, whatever. It seems beautiful. It seems like it, you know? So, again, I'm telling anyone on YouTube, if you guys want to go with me, it's in January, let me know. But I'm going regardless. And you know, Melissa, I'm thinking maybe that's why God never gave me a car. Because
you guys go traveling somewhere.
Yeah, and because I had to meet up with this person, and if I had a car is an isolating thing, to be honest with you. It's very isolating. And so I would have never met up with him, right? It's only because I was walking on foot. Yeah. It's only because I was walking on foot that I met up with this person, you know? And he wasn't like soliciting me. He was like, oh, I'm going to Africa. He does this radio show here. And he's like, oh, I'm going to Africa. I know he says, I'm going to Ethiopia. And I looked at him and I was like, I want to go to Ethiopia. I want to go to Ethiopia. Like my head snapped around like the Exorcist. I was like, I want to go to Ethiopia. And then he goes, we have a whole group going. Of course you can come. And I was like, oh, thank you. I want to go to Ethiopia. So I'm going with this whole group out of St. Croix. Yeah.
You know what? It's no accident that you move where you at.
Yes.
And then come to find out you want to know so bad what I want to travel.
Yeah.
What's calling to me?
Yes.
And then the guy tells you, and it's like, wow, like you paying attention to the sign.
Yes. And also, Melissa, like COVID came, right? And you all know I am crazy when it comes to COVID. I'm very ugly about it. Right? Oh, hold on a second.
All right.
Hold on. I'm crazy about COVID, right? And I said, okay, God, I said, I spoke to God privately months ago, and I said, will I ever be able to travel again? Right? But I didn't get an answer, right? And then I said, okay. I figured the answer was no. And I said, okay, I'm happy that I'm here. So if I never get to travel again, I've been to a few places, and I was like, I'm happy that I had an opportunity to travel. So if I never get to travel again, I'm okay with that, right? And then I just let it go, right? And COVID still exists, but it doesn't exist the way it did 2 years ago. So this might be the perfect time to travel. You know, in case there's another flare up, it might be the perfect time to travel. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Melissa, I swear to God, I am packing as you and I are talking. This is how I wound up being at peace. Maybe it was the travel thing, because I figured I don't want to pack at the last minute. So I'm packing, like getting the toothpaste, toothbrush, you know, packing away medicine already. Like my medicine, I'm like packing that in advance, right? All the little things, like even Band-Aid, like I'm just packing all the things that are critical to travel. You know?
Right. You know what, too? I see this pack on, I have to look it up again. This lady had little square boxes that said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she had what she was going with today, what she was going with for Tuesday.
Yes.
And she folded it up, and then she flattened the squares with it.
Yes.
I have to look that up. I think it looks so cool, because I'm like, you can hang up your stuff when you're in the hotel.
Yes.
That you can just have your stuff, not, you know, so you know what you have.
Yes.
Because we end up digging through our bag, and then next thing you know, your stuff is on the bed, on the floor, because you're looking to see what you got to wear.
Yes. Yes. Well, you know, I've traveled before, and when you go on a multi-city tour, which this is what this will be, a multi-city, right? It is better. So what I did was I would take my pants, a shirt, underwear, and bra, and I would roll everything for that day in a bundle. So I would have all of these bundles, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just lined up in my suitcase. I'll show you. One, it.
All right. I mean, that's good too.
Yeah, yeah. Because when you go on a multi-city tour, like unpacking is the worst you could do, because you're going to leave something behind. So you just kind of live out of your suitcase for a week, you know? And then you travel you travel lightly, right? And thank God it's not going to be one of those trips where you got to get dressed up at night and look all pretty with jewelry. So I don't have to worry about extra clothing. And if I had to get dressed up at night, I probably wouldn't go, right? I do have some very pretty pajamas, though, Melissa, that I could wear outside.
I love that. I love wearing PJs outside.
Yes, I have some gorgeous pajamas that you wouldn't even know were pajamas, right? So I can carry like one or two extra flowing, like it's to my ankles pajamas. The worst part is shoes. That's the worst part for your adventure. So if it's like sneakers, of course, right? Sneakers and sandals, I would think, and slippers for your hotel room, because I hate my feet touching the ground of any carpet in any hotel room. And I'm sure most of us are like that.
Oh, my mom's like that too.
Yes.
My mom's like that too. She's like, no. She's like, she'll start screaming at me. Put on your shoes.
Put on your shoes. I've never heard anyone getting any disease from a hotel floor, but nope. Melissa, I wear slippers in my house.
I don't wear that on my feet. Listen, the only time I wear something on my feet is if I have to go outside and you know, and go outside and put on sneakers or whatever. But other than that, I am in the house. I always been a child that want to be barefooted.
Yeah.
No socks on neither, even in the wintertime. I can't stand wearing socks today. It's not my thing.
Absolutely. Hold on, Melissa.
Okay.
All right. Well, I am a little perturbed, Melissa. Hold on a second. Damn it. I brought some stuff from Kmart out here. And for the life of me, I don't see what I did with it. Oh well. It is what it is. All right, Melissa, would you like to get started on hey Melissa,
Oh, yeah.
you know, hold on, I think I found it. Nope. Shit. It's all right. The next book, everyone, is going to be Conversations with God. Conversations with God. So everyone knows. By Neil Donald Walsh. Neil Donald Walsh. And it's book 1 because he has several books, all entitled Conversations with God. All right. Yes. But we're going to finish this and then we're going to take a break. And then I'm going to come back with the next series, Conversation with God. That's just so the people know to get the book.
Right.
All right. All right, Melissa. Let's get this party. Oh, it's hot. Now it's hot. Well, let me get my fan on. Hold on, Melissa. I got my fan here.
And you said the guy's name is Neil Donald Walsh, right?
Neil. Yes, Neil Donald Walsh. Yes. Oh, child. Thank God for this fan, Melissa. Oh, Lord. All right. Let me just. Can you guys hear me? Maybe I did something wrong. Okay. Neil Diamond Walsh. Okay, good. All right, Melissa. Good. Yes, Neil Diamond Walsh. You're going to love this book because it's literally going to teach you that the voices inside your head is God, and trust that you too can have a healthy conversation with God, right? And he tells you how this relationship started with God, this conversation, and how it took a moment for him to believe that what was happening was real.
That's deep.
Oh, it's very deep. Yes, very deep. But you know, Melissa, this book came out several years ago. Several years ago. Let me just see when it came out. Came out in 1955. Look at that. 1955 was the first publishing. Oh my God. But it has so much meaning right now today, because with the world changing the way it's changing and people are becoming more and more metaphysical, like it's completely possible to have conversations with God, angels, your universe, animals, birds. Like, it's all very possible.
I love that.
Yeah, like in a weird kind of way, the little boy in The Alchemist is having a conversation with God. Because what does he do? He talks to the universe. He listens to the soul of the world, right?
Right. Look how that connects. Wow.
Right? See how that connects? Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, sweetie. We're going to be on page 116.
Okay, do you want me to start on the top?
Where it says next morning.
Okay. Next morning, there were 2,000 armed men scattered throughout the palm trees at
Mm-hmm.
Alafayo before
Mm-hmm.
the sun. Oh, you said Fayu.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Before the sun had reached its high point, 500 tribesmen appeared on the horizon. The mountain troops entered the oasis from the north. It appeared to be a peaceful expedition,
Mm-hmm.
but they all carried arms hidden in their robes.
Right.
When they reached White Tent at the center of Alafayu,
Mm-hmm.
they withdrew their, I don't know how to say that word. Is that symmetry?
I'm not sure either, but it looks like scimitars.
Scimitar and rifle. And they attacked an empty tent. The men of the oasis surrounded the horsemen from the desert, and within a half an hour, all but one of the intruders were dead. The children had been kept at the other side of a grove of the palm trees.
Mm-hmm.
And saw nothing of what had happened.
Mm.
The women had remained in their tents, praying for the safekeeping of their husbands, and saw nothing of the battle either.
Mm-hmm.
There is not for the bodies there on the ground. It would have appeared to be a normal day at the oasis. The only tribesman spared was the commander of the battalion
Battalion.
That afternoon, he was brought before the tribal chieftain, who had asked him why he had violated the tradition.
Yeah.
Commander said that his men had been starving and thirsty, exhausted from many days of battle, and had decided to take the oasis so as to be able to return to the war. The tribal chieftain said that he felt sorry for the tribesmen, but that the tradition was sacred. He commanded the commander to death.
He condemned.
Without honor.
Wait, sweetie. He condemned.
He condemned.
Mm-hmm.
He condemned the commander to death without honor. Rather than being killed by a blade or a bullet, he was hanged from a dead palm tree where his body twisted in a desperate way.
Oh my God.
The tribal chieftain called for the boy and presented him with 50 pieces of gold. He repeated his story about Joseph of Egypt and asked the boy to become the counselor of the oasis.
Wow.
When the sun had set and the first star made their appearance, the boy started to walk to the south. He eventually sighted a single tent and a group of Arabs passing by told the boy that it was a place inhabited by genetics.
No, by genies.
But the boy, by genie.
Mm-hmm.
But the boy sat down and waited. Not until the moon was high did the alchemist ride into view. He carried 2 dead hawks over his shoulder. "I'm here," the boy said. "You shouldn't be here," the alchemist answered. "Or is it your personal legend that brings you here? With the wars between the tribes, it's impossible to cross the desert, so I have to come here." The alchemist dismounted from his horse and
signaled
the boy should enter the tent with him. It was a tent like many at the oasis. The boy looked around for the oven and other
apparatus.
I don't know how to say this word.
Apparatus. Mm-hmm.
Apparatus used in alchemy, but saw none. There were only some books in a pile, a small cooking stove,
mm-hmm.
and a carpet covered with mystery design.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down. We'll have something to drink and eat these hawks, said the alchemist. The boy suspected that they were the same hawks he had been seen on the day before, but he said nothing. The alchemist lightened the fire, and soon a delicious aroma filled the tent. It was better than the scent of the hookah.
Mm-hmm.
"Why did you want to see me?" the boy asked. "Because of the omen," the alchemist answered. The wind told me you would be coming and that you would need help. One that's looking for you. He has other things to do first, but he's on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
He has begun to try to stand the desert. And what about me? When a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream.
Hold on, Melissa.
Said the alchemist.
Melissa, hold on. I want everybody to understand that last part because it keeps coming up in the book, right? The phrase, when a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person realize their dream. I want everybody to understand that. If something is not coming to you, that is the universe delaying it for a good reason.
Right.
So, if you're going to spend your whole life being depressed because the universe never brought you love, or the universe never, gave you money. Money's a big deal in the universe right now. You know, it's not that the universe doesn't want you to have, right? But when you want something, the universe will conspire to help you to get it. They will, I promise you. Like, I'm on this Caribbean land, no car. And y'all know I've been crying for days. God, why not a car? Why not a car? I've never known for God not to give me what I want, I promise you. But here I am with no cars. I feel like I'm being punished because Mother Sun is killing me, right? So then I've learned to love Mother Sun and maybe not go out every day. So I've been healing my body from the heat, right? But like I talked to you about this a minute ago, Melissa, maybe God is not giving me a car so that I could meet up with someone who's going to take me to Ethiopia.
Right.
And I got a reading from Beautiful Conundrum, Sky. And that's one of the things that Sky said. She said, and she said it so casually, I was pissed. She's like, "Oh, you're going to get your car in the spring." And I was like, "What? What?" I was pissed. And I was like, no, I'm changing that. I didn't tell Sky that, but I was like, no, I'm changing that. I am going to get a car before spring, right? But I didn't tell Sky that, but that's what I was thinking in my mind. And when I got off the reading with her, I was like, I know what I'm doing, right? And then I was like, well, I wonder if Sky was authorized to tell me spring. So maybe I would stop begging God, right? Maybe there's a bigger purpose out there. And
Right.
maybe Sky came along to be like, it's going to happen in the spring, right? And so I resigned to that. Maybe there's truth in what Sky said. It doesn't mean I wanted to hear it, but maybe there's truth in what she said. So let me sit back a little and let me do other things and let me continue to save up my money, right? And then it turns out,
Right.
by not having a car, I met up with this guy. By not having a car. I promise you, if I had a car, cars are solitary events, unless you have a family that you're trekking around. So, and it's quick and fast. So, if I had a car, we wouldn't have ran into each other. And the only reason such weird things kept happening, guys, the only reason why I even was there at the time is because this woman that I take the bus with works at Kmart, and she smashed her hand in the door of the taxi. And the guy in the front seat didn't know what she was screaming about, but I was right behind her trying to get in the taxi. And so he couldn't hear her, so I just opened up the door. And when I went to Kmart later, I went someplace else first. I wound up at Kmart. And she goes, "My hand is hurting so bad." And I remembered that she had hurt herself. And so she showed me her hand. And then I was standing there patiently, like giving nurturing words to her, right? And sympathy for what she had, empathy or sympathy for what she had gone through, right? And she goes, "Look at my hand." And she goes, "It's swollen." I didn't see it swollen, but I saw her hand stuck in the door. And she goes, "It hurt so bad." And I was like, "Well, take some Tylenol or something." And she's like, "Yeah, I took ibuprofen, but it hurt so bad." And I was like, "Go to the doctor." And she goes, "No, I don't need to go to the doctor." And I was like, "Okay." So I was standing there nurturing her, the best I could, right? I'm not a doctor, but I was just there to give understanding to her pain. When the guy walked in to talk to her, and he kept making jokes, and the way that you will always get me is by being funny. And so he kept making jokes, and at first I thought, this guy's an ass. And then I thought, Tracey, you're too hard on people. Relax. He's funny. And so I listened to more of his jokes, and I was like, okay, he is funny. They're corny, but they're funny, right? And then he said to her, do you want to buy something? He sells this herbal product. And he was telling her about the newest herbal product he had. And I was like, well, what else do you have? And he was like, well, I've got this with me, and that with me. And I said, what does one do, two do? And so when he told me what one of them did, I was like, that's the one I need. And then he's like, I was like, how much? And he goes, $25. And I was like, I don't have $25 on me. And then he looks at me and he goes, there's an ATM right there. And I'm like, man, don't be spending my money. So he goes, out.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. I don't like it when people spend my money. And he goes, there's an ATM right there. And so I was like, okay, I'll go to the ATM. And then I thought about it. And I said, no, you come with me. So I made him go to the ATM with me. And then I watched him be respectful and stand back from the machine. And so I took out my money, gave it to him. And that's when we started talking about Ethiopia. But he did not tell me
Wow.
as if he was like, do you want to go to Ethiopia? He was talking to me about the medicine that I'm taking, his herbal medicine. And he was telling me about mustard seed. It's a long story, guys, but apparently mustard seed is so good for you. So the product that I got has mashed mustard seed in it. And he said, put it in your smoothie. But I don't eat smoothies. But I figured out a way to eat it. He said, it will heal you in certain parts of your body, especially your digestive, which is what I have issues with. And so because we were talking about mustard seed, he got on to taking this trip to Ethiopia. And I looked at him and I was like, I want to go to Ethiopia. And he's like, there's a whole tour going from St. Croix. And I was like, I want to go. But I was like, I don't think I can afford it. And he goes, it's under $1,000. And I was like, oh. And I have my car money that I'm saving up for, right? And I was like, oh,
Right.
okay, I have that. I have that because I have my car money. So going back to Sky, who said you're not getting your car until the spring because I spent my car money. But I say that to say, guys, trust when God isn't giving you something, there's a reason for it. Trust that there's a reason for it. When a person really desires something, and it's not the really part, I don't mean to emphasize that. When something is meant for you to have, and you want that, that could be a man, a job, a place. All the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream. So if something is not flowing well, consider that that's maybe something the universe doesn't want you to have. It has to flow well. So the universe literally does not want me to have a car. All right, Melissa.
Well, I highlighted that. I said, let me get my highlighter out.
That's right. Highlight it. That's important.
Yeah.
It's important. Like, it's so important to understand that, because, you know, just like me, you could get a reading and you know you're saving up for a car, right? You know you are, right? And so when somebody like Sky is like, oh, and she did not even know. She was like, oh, you're getting your car in the spring. And I was like, what? What? Oh, hell no, I said to her. And then she was kind of confused, and she was like, the spring is good. And I was like, I want a car before then, before spring. But look at God. He's given me what I really wanted. I don't really want a car. I really want to go to Africa. You know?
You know, you just never know who you're gonna. You know, I was looking on it yesterday on Instagram. It's like you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yes.
Like, it's not an accident when you meet somebody.
Yes. It's not an accident. And even in that moment, like when I left him, and I wasn't worried, right? So we exchanged numbers, and he has this radio show here on the island. And then he looks at me like I was scared, but I wasn't. He goes, everybody knows me on the island. And I was like, uh-huh. I don't care. I need to go to Ethiopia. Like, don't you worry about my fear. I'm going to be on that plane. He goes, everybody knows. He goes, everybody knows me on the island. And I was like, uh-huh. Send me the stuff to Ethiopia. God got me. I am not worried about you, right? First of all, you're in my age bracket and I can kick your ass, right? You're in my age bracket, right? Don't worry about that. You can't fight. I already know this. Not if you're in my age bracket, no. You lose all that energy, as men lose all their energy as they get older. Nope, not worried, right? First of all. Second of all, this ain't you. This ain't about you. This is about God and the universe, and conspiring to get me my toes and my fingers and everything, like, in Africa. It's not about you. Hello? Oh, and you know what he says to me? Oh my God, it was so funny. He goes, you know, you'll get over there and find your husband. And I looked at him and I said, yes, yes. He said it twice. And I said, you know, I don't care about that. I'm going to be your most difficult person ever. I was like, you know, I don't care about that. I need to get to Ethiopia. Can we just talk Ethiopia? He's like, you're going to get over there and find your husband. I'm like, I don't want to have an immigration issue. That means I got to, he'll be immigrant. I got to petition for him to come here. Like, I don't have time for that shit. But I didn't say that to him. I'm like, boy, that's not what, get me to Ethiopia, please. Get out of here. Hilarious. It is hilarious. All right, Melissa, go back to when.
When a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream.
Yes.
Said the Alchemist.
Yes.
Echoing the words of the old king. The boy understood.
So hold on a second, Melissa.
Was there.
So remember, this phrase keeps coming up. When a person really desires something, all the universe conspires to help that person to realize his dream. Now, that's the alchemist saying that. And the boy echoing the words of Melchizedek. So now the boy got validation, right? Go ahead. And then the boy said,
Right.
I understood. Go ahead.
The boy said, I understood. Another person was there to help him towards his personal legend.
Yes.
So you are going to instruct me?
Yes.
No, you already know all you need to know. I am only going to point you in the direction of your treasure. But there a tribal war, the boy
reiterated.
Good. I know what's happening in the desert. I have already found my treasure. I have a camel. I have my money from the crystal shop. And I have 50 gold pieces in my own country. I would be a rich man, but none of that is a form from the pyramid, said the alchemist. I also have Fatima. She is a treasure greater than anything else I have won. I really like that.
Well, wait a second, Melissa.
Wow.
Wait a second. The Fatima part is a little bit of a delusion for him. Because they haven't had enough conversations to recognize that this is a relationship.
Right. In his mind. But not. Yeah.
Right. So, you know, he's a hopeless romantic, first of all. And to me, he falls in love very easy, to me, right? So first he had this dream about, you know, the baker's daughter. And then now he meets Fatima, and he's madly in love with her, right? But they didn't have enough intimate conversations for this to be a whole thing, right? This boy just loves love.
Right.
Okay, so he says,
like we just fell in love from first sight.
Yeah, he's that guy. Yes. And then he goes, I also have, you know, Fatima or Fatima, and she is a treasure greater than anything else I have won. And then continue on, Melissa, where he goes, she
wasn't found at the pyramid either.
Ah.
They ate in silence.
Ah. Notice what he said. So he says, I've already found my treasure, have a camel, have my money from the crystal shop, I have 50 gold pieces. In my own country, I would be a rich man. And the alchemist goes, but none of that is from the pyramids. And he goes, I also have Fatima. She's a treasure greater than anything else I have won. And he says to the boy, she wasn't found at the pyramids either. So the alchemist is trying to tell him something, right? Trying to get this kid to know your journey is not over. Right. Trying to get the kid to understand, you have more to do. You've got to get somewhere. Okay, so go ahead, Melissa.
They ate in silence. The alchemist opened a bottle and poured a red liquor into the boy's cup. It was the most delicious wine he had ever tasted. Isn't wine prohibited here? The boy asked. It's not what enters men's mouths that's evil, said the alchemist. It's what comes out of their mouths that is.
Wow.
The alchemist was a bit daunting, but as the boy drank the wine, he relaxed. After they finished eating, they sat outside the tent under a moon so brilliant that it made the star pale. Drink and enjoy yourself, said the alchemist. Noticing that the boy was feeling happier, rest well tonight, as if you were a warrior preparing for combat. Remember that whatever your heart is, there you will find your treasure. You got to find the treasure so that everything you have learned along the way can make sense. Tomorrow, sell your camel and buy a horse. Camels are, is that tradition or?
Camels are traitorous.
Oh, camels are traitors.
Traitorous.
Traitorous. They walk thousands of pace and never seem too tired. Then suddenly they kill and die.
I didn't know that.
But horses, me neither. But horses, tired a bit by bit. You always know how much you can ask of them. And then it is that they are about to die.
And when it is, they are about to die. So the guy's telling him, don't order it. So now the alchemist is telling the boy, you are going to cross this pyramid. The boy's like, there's a war going on. And he's like, you're going to cross this pyramid. Trade in your camel for a horse. Because although a camel can walk across this desert and never tire, they will die on you. Which is why he says they're traitors. They're traitorous. He says a horse will tell you that they are tired and stop and rest. But you will know when it is that they are about to die. Whereas a camel will just die on you and you'll be stuck in the middle of a desert by himself. You see what happened? But if he has a horse, the horse will give him preparation that it can't go any longer, it's going to die, and it'll give him enough time to get shelter or stay at a new oasis that he finds. Go ahead, Melissa.
I forgot where I was.
Oh, that's okay. The following night.
The following night, the boy appeared at the alchemist tent with a horse. The alchemist was ready, and he mounted his own steed and placed the falcon on his left shoulder. He said to the boy, show me where there is life out in the desert. Only those who can see such sights of life are able to find treasure. They began to ride out over the sand with the moon lighting their way. I don't know if I'll be able to find life in the desert, the boy thought. I don't know the desert that well yet. He wanted to say so to the alchemist, but he was afraid of the man. They reached the rocky place where the boy had seen the hawks in the sky, but now there was only silence in the wind. I don't know how to find life in the desert, the boy said. I know that there is life here, but I don't know where to look. Life attracts life, the alchemist answered. And And then the boy understood he's losing the rings.
He loosened the reins.
He loosened the reins of his horse.
Yes.
Who galloped forward over the rock and sand. The alchemist followed as the boy horse ran for almost half an hour. They could no longer see the palms of the oasis, only the gigantic moon above them and its silver reflection from the stone of the desert. Suddenly, for no apparent reason, the boy's horse began to slow. There's life here, the boy said to the alchemist. I don't know the language of the desert, but my horse knows the language of life. They dismounted, and the alchemist said nothing of advancing slowly. They searched among the stones. The alchemist stopped abruptly and bent to the ground. There was a hole there among the stones. The alchemist put his hand into the hole, and then his entire arm up to his shoulder.
Yes.
Something was moving there, and the alchemist's eyes. The boy could see only his eyes squinting with his effort. His arms seemed to be battling with whatever was in the hole. Then, with a motion that startled the boy, he withdrew his arm and leaped into his feet. In his hand, he grasped a snake by the tail. The boy leaped as well, but away from the alchemist. Oh my God. The boy leaped as well, but away from the alchemist. The snake fought frantically, making hissing sounds that shattered the silence of the desert. It was a cobra whose venom could kill a person in a minute. In minutes. Watch out for his venom, the boy said. But even though the alchemist had put his hand in the hole and had surely already been bitten, his expression was calm. The alchemist is 200 years old. The Englishman had told him he must know how to deal with snakes of the desert. The boy watched as the companion went to his horse and withdrew a
scimitar. Let me see what it is. It must be a knife. But go ahead.
With its blade, he drew circles. He drew a circle in the sand, and then he placed the snake within it. The serpent relaxed immediately. Not to worry, said the alchemist. He won't leave the circle. You found life in a desert. The omen that I needed. Why was that so important? Because the pyramids are surrounded in the desert. Surrounded by the desert. The boy didn't want to talk about the pyramids. His heart was heavy. and he had been I said melon. How you say that word, Tracy?
Melanchoni.
Melanchoni. Thank you.
I might be saying it wrong too.
Previous night.
Mm-hmm.
To continue his search for the treasure meant that he had to abandon Fatima.
Pause, Melissa. Melissa, pause. Right? What did he discover? He's sad now. To be melancholy means to be sad. Right? The boy didn't want to talk about the pyramids because the guy's like, if you found the snake, I don't know what the relationship is, but somehow this, let me see, not to worry, we won't leave the circle. You found life in the desert, the omen that I needed. Why is that so important? Because the pyramids are surrounded by the desert. So it's like they're closer to the pyramid, I guess. I guess when you find life. And then he goes, the boy didn't want to talk about the pyramids. His heart was heavy. And he had been melancholy since the previous night because the guy had already told him, you haven't made it to the pyramid, so you can't talk about Fatima, right? To continue his search for the treasure, that meant he had to abandon Fatima. Wow. So I'm going to post. Go ahead, Melissa.
No, I was just saying that now he's like, almost like he's getting a little depressed.
Yes. Melancholy means depressed. Yes. He is depressed now because he's, once again, he's recognizing, right, that happened with the baker's woman, where Melchizedek was like, boy, you better get on your way. Don't worry about that little baker's girl, right?
Yeah. Although that was the merchant daughter.
No. It wasn't the baker's daughter? It was the merchant's daughter?
No, it was the merchant's daughter.
Got it.
Merchant's daughter.
Got it. Thank you, Melissa. And so Melchizedek was like, you better get going. And then he was like, he wasn't sad then. He always thought he would return. But then what happened? 2 years goes by when he's at the crystal shop. And so he was going to go back and find the merchant's daughter. When he realized he should go on his journey. Like, he shouldn't be like the crystal man that he met, who always had this dream but never accomplished his dream, right? So he's going back home, but before he goes back home, he's going to pass the merchant's daughter, and all of a sudden he's like, I should take a trip through this, pyramid like the crystal guy never did. So at some point he realizes he may never get back to her, right? He doesn't quite say it in the book, but it's obvious, right? But now he met Fatima, and he's like, I'll live here forever for her. And then the alchemist is like, she's not from the pyramid though. Which made him sad the night before. He says that. He was like, I was sad from yesterday. Now that I found this life, and you're telling me the life involves the desert surrounding the pyramids, I may never see Fatima. That's sad. Like, he has this revelation, like, oh my God, this may never happen. And if everyone looks at the screen, I guess this is I'm going to pronounce it wrong, scimitar, and it's a rounded sword, Melissa.
Oh, you found a sword?
I looked it up, and it's a rounded sword. It's a very long half moon shaped kind of sword.
Yes, I can see a page and seen it.
Yes.
Yeah, I see it.
Yes. All right. So start at I'm going to.
I'm going to guide you across the desert, the alchemist said. I want to stay at the oasis, the boy answered. I found Fatima, and as far as I'm concerned, she's worth more than treasure. Fatima is a woman of the desert, said the alchemist. She's known that men have to go away in order to return. And she already has her treasure. It's you. Now she expects that you will be fine, that you will find what it is you're looking for. Well, what if I decide to stay? Let me tell you what will happen. You'll be the counselor of the oasis. You'll have enough gold to buy many sheep and many camels. You'll marry Fatima, and you'll both be happy for a year. You'll learn to love the desert, and you'll get to know every one of the 50,000 palms. You'll watch them as they grow. Demonetize or
Demonstrating
how the world is always changing. And you'll get better and better at understanding omens, because the desert is the best teacher there is. Sometimes during the second year, you'll remember about the treasure. The omens will begin instantly to speak of it, and you'll try to ignore them. You'll use your knowledge for the welfare of the oasis and its inhabitants.
Mm-hmm.
The tribal chieftain will appreciate what you do, and your camels will bring you wealth and power.
Mm.
During the third year, the omens will continue to speak to you, to speak of your treasure and your personal legend. You'll walk around night after night at the oasis, and Fatima will be unhappy because she'll feel it was she who interrupted your quest. But you will love her, and she'll return your love. You'll remember that she never asked you to stay, because women of the desert know that she must await her man. So you won't blame her, but many times you'll walk the sands of the desert thinking that maybe you could have left, that you could have treasured more in your love for Fatima. Because what kept you at the oasis was your own fear that you might never come back. At that point, the omens will tell you that your treasure is buried forever. Then sometime during the fourth year, the omens will abandon you because you stop listening to them.
Oh, wow.
The tribal chieftain will see you, and you'll be dismissed from your position as counselor. But by then, you'll be a rich merchant with many camels and a great deal of merchandise. You'll spend the rest of your days knowing that you didn't pursue your personal legend, and that now it's too late. You must understand that love never keeps a man from pursuing his personal legend. If he abandons that pursuit, it's because it wasn't true love, the love that speaks the language of the world. The alchemist erased the circle in the sand, and the snake slithered away among the rocks. The boy remembered the crystal merchants who had always wanted to go to Mecca.
Hold on.
And the Englishman.
Hold on. And no, finish up. And the Englishman.
And the Englishman in search of the alchemist. He thought the woman who had trusted in the desert, and he looked out over the desert that had brought him to the woman he loved.
Okay, hold on, Melissa. So the story that the alchemist told the boy, right? As you were reading it, I was like, this is the crystal merchant. As you were reading it. So understand why it was important for him to meet the crystal merchant. The universe, the universe had the boy, the young boy, meet up with the old merchant to have the old merchant tell him a story that could have been him. Right?
Oh, right. Because remember, day after day, he looks out the window like he wished that he can go to Mecca.
Yes.
And he wished he would have did the things he did.
Yes.
But he settled.
He settled. And then the universe realized that you settled. And so they stopped giving the crystal merchant a sign. Because the universe gave up too. Right? And I get this a lot.
Right.
I get this a lot when I have clients. And we talked about this even in group. And I have clients that are like, they don't have children, like no children, 0, right? And they're like 40 something. And then they're like, I guess God didn't want me to have children. And I'm like, no, that's not God. And I was like, I understand that you personally could not have children. That I get. But did you ever try IVF? Like any of those treatments? Because I know that God put expert doctors out here because God knew there was going to be an infertility issue across the board. So did you ever try IVF or anything similar? And then they'll say to me, I don't have a husband, Tracey. And I go, wow, did you really decide to let a man choose whether or not you would have children? Well, the right man never came along. Yeah, I hear that. But did you decide that the only way you could have children is if that person came along? However way that person was right or wrong, you were waiting for that person to come along to bring life into this world? Right? Because that's what society said to us. Society said to us, you must have a man. Right? And so there's a lot of women out there that are waiting for that man, but men are reading a different memo. And she's like, no, I've met many a men, but it's just, they didn't seem right for me. And I was like, no, I hear you. But if we take the man out the equation that you think is a complete package, which it could be, I'm not saying it's not supposed to be. And what if you just decided to go get that baby on your own? What if you decided that? You know, what if you just walked into a doctor and said, how will it look like for me to have IVF treatment? Right? Get some information to stir the blood inside of you, to the hope inside of you. Because you gave up your whole life of being a mother, thinking that you needed that person to come along to get a package, when you just could have been a mother.
Right. Because you know what? Men come and go.
Exactly. But the desire to be a mother is, you could hear it in people's voices, right? And then what do they do, Melissa?
Right.
They say that was God's choice for me. And I'm like, how? How do you decide that God looked at just you and said you cannot have children? Unless you looked at all avenues. And I have to tell you, fostering a child is probably the best gift any one of us could offer up. I have a foster brother, and I have to tell you something. My foster brother is better than my brother. I would trust my foster brother with my life. He's my adopted brother. I trust my adopted brother with my life before I would my blood relative brother, who has since passed away. But it's still the truth. I would still trust my adopted brother with my life. He's honest. He speaks truth. He doesn't pick a side. He doesn't hide his tongue to please others, you know? And that's the gift. Whereas my brother was a liar, a thief, a horrible husband, a horrible human being. So I have found favor with fostering or adopting. And what if there's a kid out there that just needs you and you're giving up your whole life because you think the universe conspired against you? No, the universe gave up because you gave up.
Right. That's true.
And
you know what, too? I know a lot of people, they go to the sperm bank, too.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean,
you can pick out the man you want.
It's
the whole process, the whole.
That's the whole IV. That's the whole IVF treatment, the sperm bank, all that. That's where you go to be like, here's the book of men that's going to give you a sperm. Pick one. Because the treatment itself can happen. Making a baby can happen. Period. God brought experts to do that. It can happen. But now the truth comes out and it's like, well, I never found a man. Oh, that's different. You held off being a mother because a man never came along. You know how many people are in a relationship, married, and the husband goes, I don't want any children.
Right. So that's basically, it's basically cursing, not cursing, I don't know why I keep saying cursing. It's basically crushing their personal legend.
There you go, Melissa.
Right?
There you go.
To be a mother.
There you go.
They're ignoring it to have a man.
Yes.
But not realize that his plan is not your plan. Your personal legend is not his personal legend.
Yes. And if you want to be a mother, talk to the universe and look at your options. And I don't care. I've spoken to women in their 50s, and I'm like, wow, imagine being a mother at 50 to a foster child. Imagine being in that age bracket and how healthy you will be to raise a foster child.
Right.
You know, get a 10-year-old that needs you. All the foster children. And, you know, that was one of the things that came across in the movie Woman is King. One of the things that came across in the movie Woman is King is being a foster child. It was very subtle, but it was very profound. I understood the meaning because I come from a mother that fostered, right? And from the fostering of children, we wound, I always say we, because that's the way my mother set it up for us. She didn't say, if you hear me talk, I never say my mother and father adopted my brother. I always say we adopted, because she made it a family event. My point to you is, in A Woman is King, you know, a foster child becomes prominent to the whole story. And it at least showed that that is something that Africans will do. They will take up their own kind to help foster.
You know, that's beautiful. And, there's always this children out there. It's like, when they're waiting for their mother, it's their personal legend to have a mother, to have an adopted mother, right?
Yeah.
Or a foster mother.
Yes.
And it's like, you got to connect with mom,
Yes. So let me go over it again. It says the boy is like really wavering that he wants to go back to this Fatima girl, right? And he goes, let me tell you what will happen.
Right.
You will be the counselor of the Oasis, right? Because the Oasis trust him. He saved their lives, right?
60 seconds.
And you will have enough money to buy all the sheep and camel. And you'll marry Fatima. And then sometime in the second year, you'll remember the treasure. It'll hit you. You'll remember, right? The omens will begin insisting to speak on it. You'll try to ignore it, right? But you'll use your knowledge for the welfare of the oasis and its inhabitants, meaning you'll prefer to not listen to the omens because you want to be chief counselor of the oasis. Okay. The third year, the omens will continue to speak of your treasure and your personal legend. You'll begin to walk around night after night. Fatima will be unhappy because she'll feel it was she who interrupted your quest. But you will love her, and she will return your love. Then, sometime during the fourth year, the omens will abandon you because you stop listening to them. The tribal chieftains will see that. Remember, they need him to see the omens. So if he's not giving the omens, he's useless. And you will be dismissed from your position as counselor. But it'll be okay because you'll be a rich merchant with many camels and a great deal of merchandise. And you'll spend the rest of your days knowing that you didn't pursue your personal legend and that now it's too late. You must understand the love never keeps a man from pursuing his personal legend. If he abandons that pursuit, it's because it wasn't true love, the love that speaks the language of the world. The alchemist erased the circle in the sand, and the snake slithered away amongst the rocks. The boy remembered the crystal merchant who had always wanted to go to Mecca, and the Englishman in search of the alchemist. He thought of the woman who had trusted in the sand, and he looked out over the desert that had brought him to the woman he loved. Let me finish this, Melissa. They mounted their horses, and this time it was the boy who followed the alchemist back to the oasis. The wind brought the sounds of the oasis to them, and the boy tried to hear Fatima's voice. But that night, as he watched the cobra within the circle, a circle, by the way, is a very sacred symbol. We'll talk about that. That's Magic 101. He watched the cobra within the circle, The strange horseman with the falcon on his shoulder had spoken of love and treasure of the woman of the desert and his personal legend. I'm going with you, the boy said, and he immediately felt peace in his heart. We'll leave tomorrow before sunrise, was the alchemist's only response. Woo! Ciao! Ciao. That was a life-changing decision. The alchemist gave him basically a reading, right? He threw a circle in the sand, right. But we'll talk about what that circle means because it's all magic, right? Everything, a lot of stuff in here is magic. So he drew the circle in the sand. He put the cobra. So I have to look it up, but the cobra has meaning. The falcon, they keep bringing up this bird, the falcon. That has meaning. And moving forward, you know, he gave him a reading, basically. He's like, let me tell you what's going to happen. Much like you and I do, Melissa. We give these readings and we tell them, this is what's going to happen.
And you hear about the alchemist being 200 years old?
Girl. Girl, what was that? I was like, I ignored it, but I was like, am I reading something wrong here? How old was the alchemist? Crazy. All right, let me look up the meaning. Oh, I meant to put this. The falcon is associated with agility, ascension, determination, aspiration. What do you aspire to do, right? So the falcon, they brought the falcon up twice. Focus, grace, mental speed, and power. The falcon means, oh, Melissa left, guys. She'll come on. The falcon means prophecy, freedom, swiftness, purpose, movement, and healing. And when the boy made the decision to go with the alchemist, in that moment, he was healed. He felt better. All right, let me look up the meaning of a cobra. 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 Oh, wait, no. Spiritual. Spiritual. The meaning, spiritual meaning. Spiritual meaning of cobra. Okay, hold on a second, guys. Cobra spiritual meaning. Snakes are one of the most feared creatures with their ability to kill animals and humans. Snakes give man the drive to bring out the best within. This creature is associated with change, enchantment, wisdom, fire. The snake equals death, which means transition to a new phase in your life. So, hi, Melissa. Let me just, I don't know if you got this part, so let me read it over for you again. This is the meaning of the snake. Snake gives man the drive to bring out the best within. This creature is associated with change, enchantment, wisdom, and fire. It's, let me see. In a story. The snake equals death, which brings transition to a new phase. When the boy made the decision to go with the alchemist, that was the transition. Death occurred so that new life can begin. So death meaning he has to put the oasis behind him. to transition in a moment's decision. And to make that decision is new life. So again, what are we all going through? Many of us are going through what part of us needs to die. Yes, same thing, Melissa. It's transition or rebirth. You're absolutely right. It is rebirth. Because what does death mean in the tarot cards? Death means not dying. It means a part of you has to die. A part of your belief system has to die. A part of your way of growing up, your cultural beliefs, your in-home grown training, many of that has to die for you to be the best person out there. There are things that you just have to leave behind. There are things you just can't believe in anymore. It's about new learning and new structuring and the willingness to take on new. Like I told you, Melissa, when you brought up the waving cat, I was like, oh, I had me a waving cat for years. For years. Because I believe in the philosophy of other cultures. I'm not stuck with my Catholic upbringing. That's limiting, right? I invest in other cultures so I could be like, teach me. I want to learn. I want to be different. I want to be way more different than the way I was raised. Please, teach me. Whew. All right, everybody, breathe. Whew. Breathe. I hope I gave some meaning to reading this book, The Alchemist. Melissa, thank you so much for everything that you do. This is beautiful. We're almost done, guys. Not that I want it to be done. I have this thing where I don't like for things to end, right? But I don't know. Where did we stop off, Melissa? I don't know where we stopped off at. I closed the book too fast. All right, I'll find it. Whew. That was good. Wasn't it good? Oh, snake. The snake sounds like transition or rebirth. Yes, Melissa. It was the meaning of the cobra means rebirth. So you're absolutely right. Oh boy. Do you remember what page we left off at, Melissa? I know we started at 116. Oh, I'll find it. 116. We'll leave tomorrow. We are starting at 125, guys. 125. Oh, child. That was good. 124. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. That was good, Melissa. Thank you so very much. That was good. I just want to, sometimes when I get off the show, I just want to reminisce in the feelings that, this book is giving me. It's just such a beautiful feeling. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, Melissa. Thank you so much for participating every single week. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I got to go to work in 15 minutes. I'm going to spend a little time listening to some music and getting zen so I could be healthy, mentally healthy for my clients. I love you all. Take it easy. Bye. Bye.
Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Gals and guys, go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live. Go to Tracey Brown Live.